Hello everybody, welcome. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We're here on the north side of Minneapolis. Right here is Oliver and Plymouth. And right in front of you, what you see is a Black Lives Matter mural that's been painted in the road on Plymouth Avenue. The 4th precinct is right up the street. That was a precinct that employed the killers of Jamar Clark, as well as some other officers that people have protested. They were also the killers of Travis Jordan, who there will be some remembrance of Travis Jordan a little bit later this next month. Right here you have Voice of Culture. So we're here on the north side, as I said, the north side of Minneapolis, and we're bringing you the community celebration right now. This is sort of the ending of the celebration. We wanted to come up and show you the mural. The mural is pretty much done. It's still getting all the way finished. We're gonna How you doing? All right. Good to see you. Stay for a little dance real quick. This is Kenna. She's the leader, creator of Voice of Culture. That was Kedisar that just danced. She's an amazing dancer. Kenna's a teacher of many things. Basically an African griot here in Minneapolis. Very good for the community. Family, really. Again, this is Voice of Culture right here. We're here on the north side of Plymouth Avenue. There's a drone in the sky. There's a few drones out here. We have some drone pictures, and we'll have some drone video later out on Twitter, but drone pictures are up there for now. And we see here is the end, the R of the mural. See Kenneth Caldwell. We're going to speak to the Caldwells in a moment. You good? Yeah. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
So you can take this if you want. If you can.
Oh,
Okay. Cool. You want to introduce yourself and speak about who you are as an artist, and then also maybe your participation in this.
My son is coming back over here in a minute, but I can get it started.
Yep. That's cool.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yep, good.
Okay. Hi, I'm Charles Caldwell, North Side resident, artist participating in the historical Black Lives Matters painting mural. Participated local artists from the Twin Cities, and this is what was done today. This was a one-day project. Started out at 10 o'clock this morning. Finishing deadline was 5 o'clock, and it looks like everybody's done, and we all completed the process here. we've all completed the process here. Guess they're shooting a overhead shot with a drone, and so we kind of need to clear the space so they can get a nice clear shot so that the world can see what's taking place here today in North Minneapolis. Very exciting project. My son, Kenneth Cardwell, and myself, Charles Caldwell, completed the letter R. And I'm really excited to be on the end of this thing because it's a continuation of what's yet to come. Great opportunity, great experience, and so happy to be had the opportunity to be a part of this. Grew up in this community as a kid, and just great to see something so profound and so powerful being stated on Plymouth and Penn Avenue. Plymouth Avenue is the historical avenue where in the 60s where the riots took place in this black community. There used to be businesses up and down the street here. Transitioned from a Jewish community to an African American community. At this time it's a diverse, multicultural community. Certainly gentrification is taking place in all of our black communities across the country, so that's certainly taking place in this community. But I hope people's attitudes have changed a little bit to not think that when they come into this community or any other urban community that is theirs, they need to come in and try to help make the community better instead of coming in with that me, mine's attitude. And so a lot of our urban communities get that, and that's where the pushback comes from. Everybody's welcome to come to any community. We've never denied anybody to come to the community, but we've certainly been denied to come into certain communities, and we're still experiencing that denial today. So when we say Black Lives Matter, it doesn't mean that no other life matters. It's like fish. Everybody don't like perch. Everybody don't like walleye, but that doesn't mean the rest of the fish is bad. It's like a steak. You know, some like T-bone, some like porterhouse, some like filet mignon. So whatever it is that's good for you, and right now what's good for the world, what's good for humanity is to understand that Black Lives Matter. That's the struggle. It's a black and white thing, and if Black lives matter, all lives matter. But we're going to not deny ourselves the opportunity to stand up and speak about how significant, how important the black lives are. We can contribute to everything that takes place in the world, even from the beginning. You know, we built this country, and we're continuing to do that. We've accepted what has been in the past, but we can no longer continue to have the past dictate our future, and that's what's happening. A change needs to take place, and so this is a part of the steps in that change, but really the reality is the only way that that change is going to happen is white people have to have a change that takes place in their heart. This thing is real, and you can say you're a part of it, you can say you support it, but know that the reality is it's not a black race card that's always pulled when we speak up and stand up. It's that we have to do what we need to do that's necessary. And you can look back in history, the day that George Floyd died with a police on his neck. I just seen the documentary is I'm Not Your Negro by James Baldwin. And in that scene, there's a scene in there with a black woman in the 60s with 4 cops with their knee on her neck. And I don't know until I do some research on whether or not she died that day. Black Lives Matter.
Thank you.
My son may want to say a few things here. This is my son, Kenneth Cardwell. He allowed me to be a part of his project today. Thank you, son.
No. Pops, thank you for helping me out here. Woo! All right, so what we doing?
Yeah, I mean, you can introduce yourself. Your father gave a really good rundown of sort of like even the history of where we're sort of standing and where this mural is. But you can just...
I'll talk about the piece.
Yeah, introduce yourself,
I'll just
talk about the piece.
Yep.
I got questions too.
Okay.
That's
All right. I am Kenneth Caldwell, native of Minneapolis, Minnesota here, north side. The piece I painted is called Daydreamer. And what it is, it's a self-portrait and a portrait of my son, all in one. And what it represents to me is the reality of youth seeing the image and then creating what they see. So it's the creation and the image from a child's perspective. As a child, I looked up to my dad and was inspired by the arts from watching him. And I bring my son to the studio a lot with me, and he was in the studio and he wanted to paint. He had picked up the paintbrushes, and I was like, let me capture this moment. So I had him take the photo, and that's the birth of Daydreamer.
So that's basically a mural of your son, or a photo of your son in the mural.
In the mural, yes. And it's also it's a self-portrait. I call it a self-portrait because it's also how I see myself. Not letting the inner child in me die, and always being hungry to try new things with the arts, and just being excited about the newness in the creation process. So that's pretty much why I call it a self-portrait. But it's also a tribute to him, because I learned so much through watching my kids, just being patient, watching their excitement when they learn something new, when they see something new, and just teaching them and having them being able to receive it. That's a blessing when you can teach your child something or show your child something and they're excited about learning the gift that you're giving them. So Daydreamer is a perfect title for the piece. He loves seeing himself in paintings too. As soon as I finished it, he was like, "Dad, can I have it?" I said, "You got it, son. It's yours." So it's hanging up in his room now. So the original.
Nice.
Yep.
Can you talk about art in general? How it's just such a means of expression, and it seems like you and your father are incredible at capturing emotions within art and just like the scene. Can you describe just what your approach to art is?
So my approach, again, you know, watching my dad, I would watch him go through magazines and take images or take pages from magazines, and I was always wonder what he was doing. And finally I just kind of watched and I asked him, and he was like, "These are references." And I didn't understand what that meant at the time. I was, 6, 7, 8 years old. And I would see the way he would take a couple of photos and put them all into one. So as I became an adult artist, I would do the same thing, collect references, take my own images and put them together. Things that I would see, images that I would see, people that I would see in the community, I would want to capture those images and bring them to life and give it back to the community. So what I'm seeing, what the community is giving me, I'm creating it in my paintings and giving it back. So that's my process.
What was it like today? It's super hot today, first of all.
You see me sitting down. I'm exhausted. I got lightheaded a few times, but the energy was I mean, you can't even put words on the amount of energy from the other artists and the people that were out here. It's I mean, again, you can't put words to it. It was something I wouldn't have wanted to miss this opportunity. I'm glad to be a part of this. I ended up getting the last letter. I was late. I was so busy with art stuff, paintings and framing up stuff, and so I responded to the email late, and I got the last letter. And I didn't think I was going to finish on time, but with the grace of God, I was able to finish. But I overheard somebody say I either want the B or the R, because it's the first thing they see or the last thing they see. So I guess I kind of, again, that's God's favor right there. Ended up getting one or the other. So, so yeah, I guess that's pretty much it.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
We're 2 blocks away from the 4th Precinct. 5 years ago, there was an 18-day occupation for Justice for Jamar Clark, who was shot in the face by police, unarmed. And his family received no justice. We have the George Floyd case that is just reverberated throughout the world.
The world, yeah.
And can you talk about maybe where you feel like we are right now as a country, and maybe even just Northside Minneapolis?
I think in every storm, at the end of every storm, there's beauty that comes from it. I mean, it's kind of being able. You got to be able to look through the murkiness, the dirty side of it, and be able to come out on the other side clean. And it's sad that people have to lose their lives, but on the back end, you get a whole community coming together. You get people from different races, different ethnicities coming together and realizing that there is something wrong and doing something about it. We got projects like this, and it's giving the artist an opportunity to speak through their visual paintings, through their poetry, through their whatever medium that they have, and it's our chance to speak. It's our chance to do it creatively. So I think that's the plus side of it. The downside of it is that the injustice and people are losing their lives in order for this to happen. So, we need this to happen without people losing their lives, without black people losing their lives. People in general, but right now the focus is black people, minorities, and that's the biggest thing. So, yeah, after the storm, you gotta wait for the fruit to flourish and see all the beautiful things that come out of it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else you'd want to say? It was hot, but you all 16 artists.
16 artists.
And I mean, you sort of expressed it, but what does it feel like to even get invited to this?
It happened so organically. I got tagged on a Facebook page, and I was like, yeah, that'll be dope to do. I'm down, And I responded, and maybe a week later, the ball was rolling, and here we are. And a lot of these artists I had never met before. So it's kind of tough for artists to see other artists and connect and get together and build like this. So this opportunity for me to meet other artists and see their work is incredible. I mean, there's a lot of talent out here. For a while, there's the names we have, the Takumbas and the Seitus and Chris Dean, Christopher Harris. I mean, there's a lot of older artists that have made their mark, but to see these young artists out here, like myself included, coming up under my dad, Charles Caldwell, I mean, that's a big thing, to be able to see these artists come up and flourish and be able to say what they need to say through their work. So that was dope. Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else you'd want to say?
Nah, that's it.
All right, thanks, man.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
My dad gave me these chips and I don't want them.
Yeah, he just drove right up the street. Yep.
You want some chips, man?
I'm okay, man.
You
Thank
sure?
Yeah, I don't want to carry him around. Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right, so here's the R. We were standing in front of. You see polars. That's for North Polars, North High. That's written up here. You see the paint spackle. This was his son, as Kenneth said. And you see called to art, Kenneth Caldwell. So that is the R. We'll bring you all the way to the other side, and we'll start with the B. We don't have the ability to interview every artist, but it was good to start with the Caldwells, at least the ending R, and check out their work. They're incredible. What's up, little king? This is the building, 1256, where the African American History Museum is. You see faces. We got the one on the way right is Matthew Little. He was a local. Oh, sweet, thank you. Thanks for letting me know. He was a local, basically freedom fighter or fighter for civil rights. George Bonga's next. He was one of the first black folks here in Minnesota. Those are two people on that. I'm gonna watch my feet. Walking around with no mask. All right, so here it's Penn Plymouth and Penn up the street. Here's one of the artists too.
That looks like an expensive camera, you know.
Let's stop that.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, brother?
Hey, I'm Nico. I'm live streaming
Oh,
right
you
now.
Nico?
Yeah.
I need to talk to you, brother. That's why I go, I need to meet Nico.
Well, hey.
You're super dope, bro.
Hey, appreciate that, man. Appreciate it.
I get your car and we got to sit and talk for
Yeah,
real.
let's do that. Are you an artist?
Yeah, I did this. I ain't saying it's finished, but don't nobody know unless I tell them.
All right. Hey, so I'm live right now. Would you be down to do an interview?
Oh,
real
for
quick?
sure.
All right, perfect.
Shit, this is Nico.
Thanks, man.
Hey, this brother here, listen. I'll tell you later, man.
Word. King. So we talked to actually the Caldwells just a minute ago, and they had the R, and now we're at the beginning. You got the B. Can you describe, just introduce yourself, who you are, and what was it like out here painting on this 100-degree day?
My name is Sean Phillips, but I go by Sean Garrison's my art name. What was it like? It was like being on the continent, sitting on the equator. But being here for this cause, man, it was a beautiful thing. I mean, it could have been 300 degrees. I'd have been here. Same things that we need to do. Hopefully, help some people heal a little bit, and inspire people to be more spirited in their response to things that should be happening. So that's. I got a headache, but that's okay. Yeah. It's all good, man. It's all love. So it's beautiful, man. And I'm honored to be a part of it. And it just goes into the for me, since I was out there and about during the whole uprising, and just watching all that beautiful action. Regardless of who was doing what, that's a whole nother story. But to see people out there was inspiring for me as an old head. I was like, okay, these young folks got it, right? And so it's our job, at least I think in my head, to keep young brothers and sisters, spirited, and don't let them forget. So part of my thing now is to do whatever I can to make sure they get keep that energy, man, and hold those accountable who claim that they're on our team now. Make sure they stay on our team, and don't go through that honeymoon period. Okay, we like black folks or whatever for a hot second. Okay, now we good. So now we're gonna hold you accountable. But this time was a little bit different, man, with this Brother George Floyd getting murdered. I think America saw itself in that dude's face, and they couldn't shake the image, man. They could not shake it. So that's my theory why we having the response we have with respect to everybody being on our team, right? So, but yeah, and this is just, it's therapy, man. It's therapy. And it's for the people. I grew up not too far from Detroit, but I grew up about 5 minutes from here. Got in the fights right there. but it's just a beautiful thing, man. It's all love, man. And I can't, 100 degrees, 300 degrees. It's 300 degrees on the 26th. So I like the heat. So that's why that little red part, that reminds me of the whole, just watching everything up in action.
Yeah, can you describe what you have? You do have some fire. What else do we see?
Black roses. Didn't finish those. Got a little long. The black roses are a metaphor for black folks, and this this point we're at with this country. This country can't figure out if it loves us or loathes us, and I guess depending on the weather, but depending on who it is, is what they decide to do. But in any event, we're beautiful folks. And so with the black rose, it's a beautiful thing, but then once somebody prick their finger, they upset, right? So that's kind of the metaphor for it. And then, of course, the bright piece, that was for all the smoke and the sinners that I saw and inhaled. And actually, man, I was proud of it. I was proud of it, man, because I was telling someone, even my generation, man, I'm 51. When this brother George Floyd got murdered, I called 4 people. I called my mother, who's in her 70s. I apologize to her because they did all the work, right? They did the work to get us where we're supposed to be. Then I called my kids and apologized to them because they still shouldn't be seeing George Floyd's. So we kind of dropped the ball in large respects and forgot there was something to fight for. So once that happened, man, it was like, okay, it's at least on my end what I need to do and hold folks of my generation accountable, because we still have work to do. And again, it was just beautiful watching those young folks do them, because a lot of us didn't have the courage to do it, right? We got comfortable. And once you get comfortable, we have Brother George Floyd's and Brother Ahmaud Arbery's and so on and so forth. This goes on. But yeah, so that's where we are. It was harder that night than the day. And I loved it, so pretty cool.
So yeah, I mean, I also asked Charles, the same thing. We're a few blocks away from the 4th Precinct. Just 5 years ago, Jamar Clark had 18-day occupation out there. He was killed unarmed by the police, shot in the face. Then, like you talked about, George Floyd, you talked about sort of where the youth brought it on this time, and they took it to a different level. And what do you hope to see next when it comes to just relations in general in America, or just anything in general in America?
Well, I'm gonna answer that twofold, maybe threefold. I'm gonna get to the young folks last. That's the most beautiful part of this story. Is that I think the reason why this country, right, in the world, has even had this response to Brother George Floyd's murder was that this is the first time out of all these shootings that they had to look at themselves in the mirror when that cop sat on that brother's neck for almost 9 minutes and didn't flinch. And he looked at the camera like, this is what we do to y'all, right? Reminded me of the old 1920s photo from Duluth, the Duluth lynching, and those gentlemen sitting in there smiling like they won the lottery. And so when I saw that officer, I won't call him by name, that's what I saw. And I think this country, you know, this majority, the man, whatever you want to call it, saw themselves in that moment, and they witnessed curbside the modern day lynching. And even though a lot of folks act soulless, they couldn't shake that the next morning. You know, you could shake the Walter Scott murder for some, you could shake Ahmaud Arbery, you could shake Alton Sterling, you can go on forever, but you never saw the murderer's face. Never get a chance to look into his eyes. His eyes are poured to the soul. But that moment he sat there and people were transfixed on this dude's eyes, right? A lot of folks say it's his hand, is his nonchalance, hand in the pocket. That's probably what his eyes did it for me. I was like, wow. And these folks are just, they believe in what we believe in right now. It was just for a moment because it's that guilt. It's not even guilt, it's a part of the being now, because you can't unsee that. So that's where we are with that. As far as the young people, we in social media, they done seen a lot, right? And social media like compresses and concentrates all these events. I'm 51, I've seen a ton of things, but we never had that around the clock access going, okay, let's look at this, look at Quan McDonald for 15 minutes. You know, cause that's one thing I do. I look at them all, you know, keeps me close. And it, you know, informs my art. But these young folks like, hold on, man. In the span of 2 of my years, I've seen, you know, 50 different murders ad nauseum, and there's no one paying the consequence for that. There's no repercussions. And so it's one of the things that, you know, people got tired, man. You know, and it's, you can only poke somebody to poke the bear for so long before he mauls you. And they poked, and here we are, you know. And I'm not worried about the property. You know, property can be replaced. A lot of those companies made more money in 2 days than they did 3 months prior. Insurance claims and whatnot. So they're gonna be all right. My hope is that we don't lose this energy, right? We don't lose this energy, because that's part of it. That's what happens. We go through this honeymoon period. You know, we got the event, the climax, and then it's like, okay, now we go on to the next one. And we can't have, even since Brother George, so it's been several, right? So we just gotta, you know, stick with the fight. You know, and these old heads need to inform and support these young ones. Don't criticize, you know, unless you're gonna do something. You can't care from the couch. A lot of folks want to be, you know, couch critics. So we need to be out here. So this is just part of me being out here, as opposed, in addition to being out there. I think I still smell like smoke. Probably shouldn't say that on camera. But yeah, it's cool, man. It's a beautiful thing, and I appreciate what y'all do, man. Because y'all was live and direct. You know, so. But as far as the country, who knows where the country is gonna go? They're guilty now. So hopefully we can, I hate to say capitalize on the moment, but while everybody want to have these deep pockets and be giving, let's figure what we can do to help the communities and do what we need to do, right? Right in the middle of a pandemic, it's like our maker said, "I'm gonna hit this pause button so y'all can really watch how this country sees you all." And now I'm gonna, you know, keep y'all on pause for a while to figure out the next step. So after the reset button's hit, what do? You that's the thing. What do we do? So,
Word, thank you for all that. Is there anything else you'd want to say?
Minneapolis keep rising up. Worldwide keep rising up. You know, even if we save one more murder, then we done our job, right? We just need to, we can't get tired. It's a never-ending fight. You know, we can start fighting when we called home. So, keep doing what we're doing. And Minneapolis did it. Go figure. So that's it. But, so now we got Kirby Puckett Prince and the Rise of 2020. That's dope. That's dope. That's all I got. My brother, you got a card?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you up, man. You got
And then,
coffee?
and then my email, I don't have my number on here, but my email is, you can put Nico at Unicorn Riot.
All right, bet. I'm gonna hit you up for the weeks up, man.
Yeah, do that. What's your name again?
Sean.
Sean.
And I
Yeah,
don't have my card on me, but yeah, we're gonna talk, man.
All right, let's do that.
I like what you're doing, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Word, yeah, let's do that.
you are a hero, trust me. I trust me, like, I want to meet Nico. I'm gonna call my homegirl. Guess who I met? I met Nico. Oh, matter of fact, hold on, let me get a picture of this thing. Hey, this is Nico.
Let's do it. What's up?
So do you want me to hold that
Yeah.
for you?
Hey, Mr. McConnell.
Yeah.
This is a
It's
real
live right now, though.
guy. And me when I was like 10. Great, how are you doing? That's right, you look good. You look better than me.
Can you guys scoot over 1 second so I can get a
This man, you just swing it because it's a real camera. It's not like an iPhone. I will in 2 seconds. Oh, my bad. All right, 1, 2, 3. Cool. Thank you. Sean, nice seeing you. I'm Nico. Hey, sir. All right, brother, we'll talk.
Kind of doing the clutch.
I didn't realize you were behind me.
So, all right.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So we got the full Black Lives Matter. You can sort of see. It's really tough, obviously, because we're on the ground. We will have drone shots of this. Right there, taking the video, is the co-founder and the curator of the Minnesota African American Heritage Museum and Gallery. Her name is Tina Burnside. If you want to know more information about Minnesota African American Heritage Museum and Gallery, check out our website. We have a special on them. We did a 2-video special. We toured the museum, and then we also, that's one video, and another video is specifically just about just some of their work. This is King Demetrius streaming. You streaming right now?
Yes,
All right.
I'm
Yep.
streaming.
People
brother.
can check out his streams. King Demetrius Pendleton.
Yes, King Demetrius Pendleton, independent journalist, photographer, out here just looking at this amazing piece. This is amazing. I hope nobody come around with the flapdoodle stuff trying to paint over it. We're not dealing with it over in North Minneapolis. We will put boots on the ground and everything else just so we clear. And thank Nico Unicorn Riot for being out here as usual. They had the drone up in the air. Y'all be able to see stunning photos and stunning footage from Nico Unicorn Riot and everybody. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah.
Yes, it's my brother here.
King was also live earlier from here, and the Elijah McClain rally. Yeah. It was good? Yeah, okay.
Yes. Anybody want to see any footage from the Elijah McClain, please look at my footage. King Demetrius Pendleton, independent journalist photographer. You can all tune in to listenmedia.ent, and also you can see some of the stream that I put together, but that was amazing. They also had people from violins who was able to play the violins. They did the Black National Anthem. They did that. They also marched. I think it was probably about 3,000 to 4,000 youth out there and people as well. We also had some individuals try to come out there with their truck and try to, kind of come through the crowd, interrupt the crowd. But we got all that taken care of. But anybody that's out here, you have to be careful. Pay attention and be aware, because there's a lot of people out here that's trying to distract the movement, trying to cause a uproar. Don't fall for the okie doke. Keep on doing what you're doing, boots on the ground, and keep it simple. Thank you. Thank you, Nico. I love you, bro.
Love you too, man. You can check out his Facebook for that, King Demetrius Pendleton. You see this? This is actually the South Tigers colors. So we saw North Polars on the other side. This is South Tigers. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Are you one of the artists, or just?
Yeah, I did one of them.
Really?
Yeah, I did the tee.
You want to talk about it?
Sure, yeah.
Sweet. Let's do it now.
Yeah.
We'll walk over there. Let's walk in front of the tee.
Oh, yeah. Right now.
How long did it take you?
Well, I've done a lot of graffiti, so doing this didn't really take me a lot of time at all, which I more or less kind of wish that I put a little bit more effort into it. Now, I'm not knocking the art itself, because it's cool, you know, it's a good piece, yet I could have touched up a little bit more and maybe add a character or two, you know. So, but with that said, I'm happy to be a part of a team that's putting in a little bit of beauty back into our neighborhoods and in our community, you know.
Yeah.
So
let's talk.
this is me.
All right.
Right here.
Cool. So we talked to two of the artists. You can either hold the mic, or I can hold it. Either way you're comfortable with. And then you could like introduce yourself. I'm live right now, by the way.
Oh, word. Okay.
You can introduce yourself, and then just talk about like your piece. Talk about your art in general, and I'll ask you some questions maybe.
Okay, definitely.
Cool.
All
All
right.
right.
Yeah, I don't mind voting, I suppose. All right, cool. What's up, guys? My name is Deshaun. I'm an artist in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I made this wonderful tee. And so I guess one of the questions you asked earlier, like the ideas behind it. So with the time frame that we had, and just kind of throw it out there, time frame that we had, I more or less was thinking, let's just do something kind of colorful, creative, you know, something that has some pop. And I've done a lot of graffiti pieces, like 8 different murals over the past 4 weeks, and maybe, I've even painted live in a few like different events doing graffiti and whatnot. So if you just follow the format, basically, you can get it done really fairly quick. As you can see, I filled in my letters. The letters itself, I have your cool colors and your warm colors, and so just kind of playing off of that and kind of like mixing it together, and afterwards just kind of giving it some life, you know. The white lines itself gave it some nice shine and gave it some bling, you know, some little stars to make it like stand out, look nice, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, looking at everybody else's, I'm like, man, I should have like really put my elbow in it, you know. But yeah.
You talked about some other pieces you've already done in the last 4 weeks. Can you name where they are so other people can check them out? Yeah,
no problem. So I did a Unity piece. It's in front of the, where is that? H&M, over in Uptown. I did a Unity piece. That was like my 3rd time ever doing graffiti, I suppose. Just kind of knowing the format. But I've done so many different pieces before that. You know, representing the neighborhood, representing the community, representing what happened to George Floyd. But at this point of my life, I suppose, doing that Unity piece at least, I wanted to do something that spoke to everyone in the neighborhood, you know. But yeah, I did a George Floyd, GF, Justice for George Floyd, a few Black Lives Matters, even at Kmart. On top of Kmart, I did Let the Healing Begin. Like this massive, it's 8 feet by 48 feet, you know, just all graffiti, and doing it on the rooftop was kind of scary, but you know, it was a lot of fun to knock it out. So, but yeah, I think that was all of them. Maybe I'm missing a couple, but yeah.
What is the sort of the art renaissance in this Twin Cities area mostly been like to you? I don't know if you're a graffiti head. You said you have done graffiti, but you're doing graffiti now. Mm-hmm. You did sort of like this is a graffiti piece. There's been immaculate amount of graffiti.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that renaissance that's happened? Obviously, it happened off of a black man's death by police. Yeah. But can you talk about like how that's impacting maybe people and what the messages behind them are doing to people?
Yeah.
Or what artists are hoping with
Yeah.
the messages behind it.
I have worked with quite a few people, and I think what mattered to them the most, like obviously it's a horrible situation that everyone was really upset about, but what a lot of people was basically like, you know what, we got to come together. We got to come together, and we also have to like try to bring some beauty back in our community, you know. So more or less, I kind of took that in and just like, all right, I'm just gonna do what I can. But hopefully I answered your question. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the arts renaissance too. Can you touch on that? What have you seen? So you've been painting a lot these last weeks, and typically, you know, you paint a piece and it's gone the next day.
Actually, that's one of the things. When you paint a piece, that's always a risk. Like, this is going to be gone the next day, but a lot of this stuff has been up for like weeks now.
Yeah.
But no, a lot of the people that I've worked with happen to be like the owner of a restaurant or a retail store or something along those lines, who are running an event even. The people overseeing it reached out more or less and asked if I can be a part of it. I guess being a part of all this different events, every client that I've had expressed wanting to show we want to move forward, you know, and wanting to show love. And I think that's kind of like the message, you know, and the renaissance of art, you know. So, but yeah.
What was it like today? It was 100 degrees out.
Was it?
Yeah, it seems like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the final tally, but I know it was like real feel 100.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty hot day, and you were out here basically all day. We're on asphalt, you know,
Yeah.
and you're wearing a bunch of clothes too.
Oh, yeah.
How was it with the heat? How was it just being out here? But in really, what I want to get to though, beyond the heat, is what was the feeling of this all to take part in this?
Oh yeah. Well, obviously it's an honor. I guess before doing this piece, as I mentioned, doing a bunch of other art pieces. So I guess I was kind of experienced. I already knew what I was getting myself into. You know, I just kind of prepared and planned as best as I could, you know, for this. But yeah, it was really hot. But yeah, no, I mean, just being out in hot heat. This is not the first time I've been out spending like 10 hours in a day in the hot heat. But yeah, it was super hard, but I bought some equipment to kind of get the stuff painted really fast. I've noticed a lot of people were using paint rollers. I actually had a cordless paint sprayer where you can pour the paints into this equipment, and then basically you point and shoot. It's like spray paint, but it's like a paint sprayer. So it's very similar but different, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, how about yourself? Well, how come you decided to come out? What was one of your goals coming out here to?
Really, heads up. Now it seems like the traffic is coming through.
Oh yeah.
Really, one of the goals was to capture the historic mural.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a pretty historic thing. I'm really glad and elated that I was able to run into you, one of
Yeah.
the artists, and two other artists, and actually speak to you all.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the plan.
Right on. Yeah, being a part of this, you know, for me, I love painting. I enjoy it, and it's an honor to be a part of it. You know, and I guess at the end of the day, I know that this is a historical moment. Does it feel like a historical moment? For me, it's just, you know, it does. And I just hope that this art inspires, you know, younger people. If I could inspire somebody, even if my stuff isn't that great, you know, if I can inspire somebody to say, hey, I want to go paint too, you know, then I think that's really cool. You know, this is protesting peacefully, you know what I mean? And if people are upset about it, then that's their problem, but this means a lot to everyone here. It means a lot to me, it means a lot to a lot of people, you know, so, yeah.
Anything else you'd want to say?
Yeah, I guess the last thing I want to say is thank you for coming by. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me, and yeah, take it easy.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
What was your name again?
My name is Deshaun.
Deshaun.
Yeah.
All right, well, Nico.
Nico?
Yeah.
Right
Good
on.
to meet you. Appreciate you talking.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of the because I noticed a lot of friends of mine put up a lot of stuff, and so I wasn't quite sure. Is there like more than one person?
Yes,
recording?
yes, yep. We're a collective.
Okay.
Me too.
Yep,
I was
yep.
wondering that too.
Yeah.
Is there like 12 elves? Are you live right now?
Yes, I am. Yes, but yeah, we're a collective. I'm one of a couple handfuls.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on.
Appreciate you. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
how did you get information about what's coming
Yeah. Let me shoot me an email.
up? I'll show you the but I don't want to do it camera.
That's cool. Oh, okay. Oh, word. Okay. Okay, word. Yeah, yeah. Shoot me a text or an email if you do it to Nico instead of info.
God bless you. I don't want a corporate number.
Yeah.
You guys don't go corporate.
No, never.
Okay, that's right.
Sorry, side conversation. Try to keep them low, but sometimes you just need to speak to some folks. So we'll bring you back up here. We'll show you the full mural. We'll walk the whole side of it, and then we'll bring the stream down. Tina Burnside was over here. She agreed to a interview, but I am not sure where she ended up going. And so we'll try to get her. She was the one who sort of curated this whole thing. Again, thank you, Jen, on the back end for helping to run the stream. Now that the traffic is coming through, it sort of ruins some of the shots, in my opinion, but this one has a lot going on. So we see the B, the L, the A, the C,
coming down though with everything else.
there's the K. See, the traffic is already ruining a little bit of it. Unless that might have been, yeah, that actually might have been the artist that did that. Looks like some kind of artistry with the shadows. So we see that's black. The like K. We got the L. There goes words of Gianna, I believe, George Floyd's daughter. Says, "Daddy changed the world." We got the V with the flag. Oh, good. I see Tina. See that racism is social terrorism. I'll read all of the artist names in a little second, or when I'm done walking through. We got some names here. The names in the BLM is the creators of Black Lives Matter National Chapter. You see Diamond Reynolds, Angela Davis, Bell Hooks, Dolores Herta, Maxine Waters, Erica Garner, who passed away. She was Eric's daughter. Sabrina Fulton, Leslie McSpadden. The superwomen of social justice is what this is. You see Diane Nash, Ella Baker, Mary Church Terrell, Daisy Bates, Ida B. Wells, Septima Clark, Nina Simone, Catherine Dunham, Maya Angelou, Laverne Cox, Nikki Giovanni. Malala Yousafzai, Sylvia Rivera, Shirley Chisholm, Harriet Tubman, Amiriana Kopeni, Sonia Sotomayor, Dorothy Height, Joanne Robinson, Audre Lorde, Sojourner Truth, Rosa Parks, and Fannie Lou Hamer. Sick and tired. Being sick and tired. The artist's signature. I know you're busy right now.
Yep. Okay, I got it. Want me to get it?
Tina, you have a moment right now? I know you're busy.
No, we got it just cleaned up, but how long are you going to be out there?
Just a few more moments. Can I just have you say hi? That's
Sure,
it.
I can do something real
Okay, yeah, let's
quick.
do it real quick. How was it? What made this come about, and how was it today?
Oh, it
And
was.
introduce yourself too.
My name's Tina Burnside. I'm the co-founder, one of the co-founders of the Minnesota African American Heritage Museum and Gallery. I'm also the curator for the museum. And today we created a Black Lives Matter mural right here on Plymouth Avenue and right in front of the museum. And it was a great event. We had 16 artists who were each signed a letter. They did their own creative designs on the letters. We also had a network of volunteers who came out. And we also had the community that came out to volunteer and helped paint. So it was a beautiful event.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, and also the reason that we did the Black Lives Matter mural was in support of the movement and the protest against the killing of George Floyd and the fight against systemic racism.
And speaking of art, real quick, do you all have plans that I read to preserve some of the art pieces that are going up around the cities?
Yes, we are working with Lisa Kelly. She's working on behalf of the museum to collect some of the artwork that was designed on buildings around the city.
All right, thank you.
Thank
I'll let
you.
you get back to doing this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Coming out.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, you guys are doing a video, right, for us?
Yeah, we'll do one for
Okay,
this too.
and,
For the museum opening, right?
yeah, for the museum, yeah. And Georgia said you guys didn't want payment, but we'll give you a donation. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll talk again.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yep. Probably won't accept that because the museum should have its own, keep its own. We would do that for free for sure. So, African American Museum is opening again soon here in Minneapolis, or they're doing like a grand opening. Real quick, let me ask. Hey, Tina, and is it just a grand open or reopening?
It's just a reopening after COVID.
The reopening of COVID. Okay, and that's August.
August, I think 4th, but I can email you.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
In August 4th, this museum, African American Heritage Museum, is opening back up. Again, if you want to know more information about the Heritage Museum, we've interviewed Tina Burnside. She's the co-director, co-founder, and curator. We interviewed her and we put out a special in February of this last year, 2020. So check that out. This is Minnesota's only Black History Museum, African American History Museum. And it took a long time coming, and it finally has arrived for over a year and some change. So, so we see the M, the A. Let me give some of these more attention. Apologies for whipping through them. Here's the M. It's got the blue, the green, yellow, blue. Again, sorry, we did not interview every artist. They were all really busy also designing their pieces. It was a good time to come at the end when they were either done or sort of stopped. You want to talk at all? Okay, good to see you. If you are in the city and you like African dance or African drum, check out Kenna with VOC. They do free youth programming. If you have youth that you want to learn, that you want them to learn how to drum and dance, incredible programming. Kenna, Voice of Culture. We also have partnered with places like Weaving Institute, youth serving programming. You see Jim Crow, Black Codes, Redlining, Racism, Slavery, and FHA. And it's a volcano and it's erupting. Up on the top, we have basically a child, like a youth, and then sort of the graduation time. And you have education, love, and ownership. Or no, yeah, love and ownership, excuse me. Here's the E. Who knows how long this stuff will be up? It's gonna storm tonight. We'll see how long this mural can stay. As you heard, King D, the North Side is not trying to play with people that would come and desecrate it. So King D said. Other murals have been splashed with other kinds of paint before. This is right up the street from the 4th Precinct. 4th Precinct is literally right there. You see 4th. Try to get you a better across the street. So, again, and you heard in the beginning of the stream, Kenneth Caldwell talk about the history of Plymouth Avenue in 1967, I believe. Plymouth Avenue was massive riots on Plymouth. National Guard was called in. People have, some elders have compared those times to the George Floyd era, and said it sort of comes in a partial comparison, but a lot of what I've heard is that this year's uprising was more fiery. So again, we're here live on the north side of Minneapolis. This is Plymouth Avenue. Back in the day, as you heard, this was a lot of Jewish folks' houses. Up and down this avenue was Jewish folks' businesses. I'm glad that we were able to hear from Kenneth, who broke it down a little bit, because that is exactly the history of where we are. And again, the 4th Precinct is right there. Outside of the 4th Precinct for 18 days, there was a occupation in 2015. Unicorn Riot was live every single day of those 18 days. Our live stream account is no longer a thing. So all of the live stream links are dead. We have a lot of it uploaded to our Vimeo page. I believe it is live for a lot of the 4th Precinct occupation coverage. Those are published pieces on our Vimeo page, where our archive of our live streams from our dead live stream account are being slowly uploaded and made live. Or they're all uploaded basically. They're just slowly being made live. Again, we would only be able to do this with the support of you all. That was the scene of where Jamar Clark was. Well, let me do this. This was the scene of where Jamar Clark was killed. Can you see it? No, you can't see it, but it's like right in the middle where there's you see that little red? Those are balloons, and that marks the spot where Jamar Clark was killed. Right up the street, this is Plymouth. That is Morgan. Right up Morgan, if we went that direction, is where Alan Scarcella and Nathan Gustafson, along with other accomplices, they were white supremacists, and they shot 5 unarmed black protesters. 2015, a racially motivated mass shooting. If you want to know more information about that, we definitely covered all of that, as well as the trial where Scarcella was found guilty and was sentenced to over a dozen years in prison. He's in protective custody in a correctional institute right now, and he'll be out in a few years. he almost killed people. He came to the precinct with the intent to shoot people, and that's what he did. That was the real thing. Anyways, Jamar Clark was the thing that everybody was fighting for. They were fighting for justice for Jamar Clark. Jamar Clark never received justice. His killers were ruled justified in their shooting, and his family received a smaller sum of civil suit. I think less than $1 million. This was like a little bit time after Justine Demond got $20 million. So again, we'll walk you back through this, and then we'll take the stream down. Thank you all for joining. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. Check out our coverage at unicornriot.ninja. Check out our Facebook. Check out our Twitter, UR_ninja. Check out Instagram, unicorn.riot. We are on YouTube and Vimeo as well. We are a 501c3 educational nonprofit dedicated to bringing context to social and environmental struggles and spotlighting alternatives in today's globalized world. We operate off of your funding. Thank you all for the support that we've received in the last few months. It's been extraordinary. If you are financially privileged enough, consider donating to Unicorn Riot. It will only enhance our chances of staying a community media station, media platform for years to come. We have a lot of good plans, and we're starting to plan them. And thank you all. Well, we've been planning them, obviously. We've been around for 5 years. 2015 is when we started. And if you ordered a shirt in our last fundraiser, if you donated and you're expecting a shirt, expect that in a month or so. We have not yet printed them, but we have gathered the information needed. We will be sending you a message asking you what size you want. We have no shirts right now. In the future, we look to have some kind of store for Unicorn Riot swag. So we'll take the stream down. There's a multitude of things that happened today here in Minneapolis. We heard from King Demetrius. One of those things was Elijah McClain protest. There's quite a few thousand youth, from what I understand, out there, and pretty powerful. This is a Black Lives Matter mural. We heard from Tina Burnside just a minute ago. She's the co-founder of the African American Heritage Museum and Gallery, and she put a call out. She's a curator and co-founder. She put a call out. 16 artists answered the call out. 16 letters. We spoke to 3 of the artists, and we will have some more coverage of this a little bit later on in the next few days. Check out new pieces that we have on the Mother's March from last weekend. We have a video and some media from that, so check that out on our website, unicornriot.ninja. If you would have the financial privilege, as I was talking about, to donate, unicornriot.ninja/donate is a good way to do that. And again, thank you all for tuning in. We wouldn't be able to do this without your watching us and without the community of supporters supporting us. So again, thank you all. Thank you, Jen, for running the back end, and we will take the stream down. Hope you all have a great rest of the night and weekend, and have a good one. Peace.